This is Cammie from Van Hals, and you are listening to The Moose.
Hey, Metal Moose. It's the other Metal Moose, Matty J from Psychostick. Just calling to say, Moose.
Hey, this is DJ from Revel 9, and you're listening to The Metal Moose.
This is Chris from ELYSIUM, calling you from Cleveland, Ohio. You are listening to Metal Moose Radio, Chicks That Rock program, and the Metal Moose is on the loose. Crank it up, man. It's metal.
You are listening to the Metal Moose.
Yeah, damn right you're listening to the Moose. Welcome to Soundcheck, everybody. Buckle it up and get comfortable. Get ready for an awesome show, man. We got Flesh of the Lotus, Scars Divide, Beheaded, Hellsought, Ghost Against Ghost, a bunch of amazing stuff, including brand new DOYLE. You might have heard of him before. He was in this band called The Misfits. Some people liked them, some didn't. They had a little bit of an influence on the scene. A couple of different scenes, actually. Yeah, so new DOYLE on the show tonight. Also, I wanted to, right here in the beginning of the show, welcome you to the Moose Pit Studios here in Oklahoma City, and also clear up some misconceptions about the show. A lot of people are like, man, I can't call into your show, so it's not as cool. I can't call and make comments. You absolutely can. Call to the show, 424-666-7356. Now, listen, here's the deal. I'm in the studio on Tuesday nights and usually Thursday nights. The Thursday one's a toss-up. If I feel like doing the show, then I'm up late on Thursdays doing the show. If not, it's Friday. But Tuesday nights from, usually from 8 to 10 or so, I'm here in the studio doing the show. And if you call, yeah, man, I'll put you on the air. But you can always text in comments as well. Email moose@themetalmoose.com. I understand that this is a podcast. And that's one of the good things about the podcast, because people are always like, man, I just wasn't around for your show. My show's playing 24/7. What do you mean you're not around? I don't really have an app for podcasts. You don't have YouTube? Because it's on YouTube, and that's free. Yeah, man, I live in Africa, and the time difference really messes it up. No, man, it's a podcast. You can play it whenever you want, 24/7, 365, no matter where you're at, what day it is. This show goes on the podcast page, and it stays there. I don't delete it, so it's there forever on YouTube and on iTunes. It doesn't go away. So if you ever, quote unquote, miss a show, no big deal, man. Just go to YouTube and find it there. Easy deal. Also, just email me. Hey, Moose, I want to hear this one show. I heard you played a band I liked. Cool. Let me go find it, and I'll shoot you the info on how to get it. It's super easy. A lot of people, I think, are still, it blows my mind because podcasts get listened to by like 87 million people a week. Joe Rogan's podcast gets 1 billion listeners. There's a bunch of tech dorks out there who talk about video games and the fact that they want to get laid, and they have trillions of listeners. So podcasts, it's a real thing, kiddos. Welcome to the future. And this is the Soundcheck, and we're a podcast too. So if millions of you want to listen to this, that would be great. We do have a bunch of listeners, and you're one of them. Thanks so much for being here. This is a show where I listen to music that people send in, bands and record labels and indie labels and all kinds of stuff. People send us music. I listen to it. Tell you what I think about it, because people always want to know, what'd you think about the music, man? Okay, well, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you right here. We're going to play it. I'm going to hear the song for the very first time, just like you, because I almost guarantee you, besides maybe DOYLE, you've never heard any of these bands I'm going to play. So that's another awesome thing about the show. You're going to get introduced to a lot of brand new music you've never heard. And let me tell you something, folks. There's a bunch of music out there that we've never heard before that is really, really damn good. I know it's a small secret out there that every band started out as an indie band. It's true. So we're going to play you some bands that could be complete and total rock stars in the very near future. It's happened. Bands that we've played on the show are now touring acts and making albums, and it's just happened. So it's the future of heavy music right here on Soundcheck. My name is Moose. Buckle it up, Buttercup. We're about to get into it. Let's find out what we got coming up right now.
You're listening to the Metal Moose.
Yeah, Continental right there. So that's one of those songs that, like the very first thing that pops into my head is, a guy like my age in his 40s hearing that and going, a bunch of damn emo, screamo crap. That's no Maiden. That's no Priest, and I get that to a point, but, things evolve, things change, and it is a little bit emo, screamo, but I really like the guitar work. The vocal line really has something special about it. Not only can you feel the emotion, but it for some reason, the way the guitars and the vocal match in that tune was really, really cool. I would wear that band shirt. I don't know if they would let me because I'm an old metalhead guy, but I dig that, man. So, I don't know if I'm going to introduce that band to somebody who's looking to get into finger parentheses metal or not. I think that's probably going to be more acceptable in the hardcore scene than in the, like I said, quote, metal scene. But I thought it was awesome. I liked it a lot. So, yeah, man. This is Soundcheck, by the way. My name is Moose, coming to you from the Moose Pit here in Oklahoma City. So, tonight is the night that I'm going to invite you guys to help explain to me why in the hell you guys don't comment on the show. So, I know thousands and thousands and thousands of people listen to the show. I know it because I can see the numbers. And so I know you're listening, but you just don't want to get involved in a deal I'm not cool enough to talk to. You think I'm a dick. What is it? So tonight I really am interested in your comments on the text line 424-666-7356. I really don't expect to get any because I've given that number out about, 700,000 times. We get some requests every now and then, but what I really want is for you guys to give your opinions on the bands. I don't really care if you like the show or not because it's, the show is just me blabbing, but I want to know if you found a band that you like. I want to know what you think about the style of music because I'm really, really trying to mix it up much harder because for a long time it was predominantly death metal. But I've got a whole bunch of new, gent and metalcore, and I've been searching out some quote unquote hard rock stuff, also instrumental things and punk and hardcore as well. So we're trying to mix it up a whole lot more than it was. So I'd love to hear your thoughts, man. I know that sounds crazy. You may not give a damn, but to me, it's a big deal. If you text in Mad Rost with a song called The Silence in the Ruins right here on the check. You're damn right.
The Moose rocks Canada. You are listening to the Metal Moose.
A little bit of Mad Ross there for you. So, I mean, the production was really good. Musically, it was pretty interesting. I liked the way it turned. I liked the guitar tone. The bass tone was awesome in the beginning. Drums really nicely played. Not too much, not overkill. Vocals were pretty gruesome. So that was okay. I mean, like it was above bar band. You know, I don't know if it's quite, you know, regional touring status or anything like that. I mean, it was okay. It wasn't the worst thing I've ever heard. It was acceptable. You know what I mean? I like listened to it. I'm like, yeah, okay, cool, right, yeah. And I mean, that's kind of where I went with it. I mean, I didn't have any like, oh my god, that bass drum sounds horrible, you know, because sometimes that happens. And I listen to a tune and I'm like, oh god, how do I deal with this? It wasn't like that at all. I listened to it and I was like, this is pretty cool. It sounded like, you know, a song you might hear on a metal compilation or something. And you listen to it and you just go, yeah, all right, Mad Ross, they're okay. I'd probably wear the shirt. It wasn't bad by any means. So yeah, I'd give that probably a 3 taco. Not bad, but yeah, the production was really well done. And the guitar playing was stellar. Drums were, I mean, I appreciate drumming in a song because it can go really bad, quickly. And, that guy had an opportunity to just make that a cluster and he didn't. It was nice. So, yeah, so coming up next, this one's, I'm going to make it a confession. So, I'm one of those guys that had a lot of friends that were into punk, and I liked some punk, you know, the Dead Kennedys and you know, stuff like that. I tried to bring in as much music as I could, but the Misfits to me were one of those bands that I just knew were like the Beatles of punk. You know what I mean? I never heard the Misfits prior to knowing that they were like the godfathers of punk. And then when I found that out, I really started studying them, and oh my god, these guys are brilliant, and it had to do with horror and aliens and, you know, killing the president and all this stuff. And I love what they've done for the punk scene, the metal scene. Their influence is undeniable. There's no way you can even try and get away with saying the Misfits don't matter, because they mattered to a lot of people everywhere. And of course, you know, you got Danzig and yada, yada, yada. So, but I have never, ever heard a solo Doyle track. I haven't. So now my good buddy, Dietrich Thal, got to go on tour and play bass with Doyle. And I think that's awesome. I'd love to just meet one of the Misfits, which is pretty awesome. But it's going to be my first time brand new Doyle right here on Soundcheck with a song called Beast Like Me.
Chicago rocks Chicago.
Every beast has got a right to
with the Moose.
I mean, I got to be honest with you. I don't really know what else I was expecting there, but that was like a modern day Misfits tune, and in that case, I love it. Really cool, and it's one of those things. Initially, I'm kind of like, God, the production's really rough, and the vocals are kind of rough, and then I thought everything the Misfits ever did was kind of like that, So, if you get into, latter day records, Famous Monsters and stuff like that, songs like Scream and, stuff like that, it wasn't quite as bad. But if, you go back to like, if you can listen to the Misfits box set and not just have a hemorrhage or a hernia because of the production, then you're stronger than I am, because it's punk damn rock is what it is. It's like a tape recorder in a basement, and we're going to release it. So yeah, man, that was but that was cool. Like, I'm going to go back and listen to the rest of that record, because I love the Misfits. And what I was trying to explain earlier is I'm not one of those guys who's like, the Misfits rolled my life, because I didn't even know who they were. Like, it took me a little bit of time getting into music to run across, of course it didn't hurt that Cliff Burton had a Misfits, tattoo. I was like, what is that? Ooh, and my buddies that were all into the Dead Kennedys and Fear and Blank 77 and all those bands were like, you don't know who the Misfits are? I'm like, right, maybe the Skull guy, right? That's, and so then I started listening to it, and I was like, oh my God, this is horribly bad in such a good way. So, yeah, man, but DOYLE, solo, never heard it before, really like it. I'm a fan. I am truly a fan. That was awesome. Just, it's kind of like pizza, man. You know what I mean? It's completely not good for you, but really good for you. So, yeah, man, I was talking earlier also, by the way, this is Soundcheck. My name is Moose. Welcome to the Moose Pit Studios here in Oklahoma City. That's right, you and me right in the dead center of the United States, rocking out to metal and stuff. This next band is actually what you would call a, quote, sign band. They're on Unique Leader Records, which is not a big record label, but this is one of those deals where I really started to try to mix up the different variations of music on the show. And far be it for me to tell you guys that this whole new scene has popped about, and labels like Unique Leader I've been doing this thing for a while, and with the technical death metal and the deathcore and the gent and all that stuff. So, I've listened to Nile and Cryptopsy and Deeds of Flesh and Misery Index, and I've listened to Dying Fetus for a long time. But there's a whole group of people that were influenced by those bands, and this would be one of them. I'm guessing it's a band called Wormhole. With a song called Existence Gap. I'm kind of excited because it's going to be technical and...
The Moose rocks Texas.
Let's eat.
persuade the prince that he should do his duty, and to impress him, takes on multi-armed form and says, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." I suppose we all felt that one way or another.
Rocks, Oklahoma.
Of course, my favorite part of that song is where they went. I mean, it's one of those kind of deals. I remember the first time I heard like Pig Destroyer, and I heard Cattle Decap, and I heard Pig Squeals and all that stuff, and I initially it was kind of like comical to me. I was like, is this for real? Is this happening? And then as I grew into dealing with this kind, because that's got like as many licks in it as a Dream Theater song, you know what I mean? And musically, it just goes all the hell over the place. For the longest time, it was like too chaotic for me to deal with. I was like, I can't wrap my mind around this. But once I started really listening to it and examining it, by the way, in most cases, when you get a gent or tech death metal band, the production's usually really, really well done. The instruments can all be heard. The vocals are, of course, just hilarious. But then you start appreciating it, and you start listening to guys like Nile that have the triple vocal attack. You listen to Impaled with their killer vocal. Psychroptic is another great example. I just ordered some Psychroptic shorts and a shirt. I'm stoked. I'm totally stoked. You come to appreciate what's going on there. The music is brilliant. And the vocal style, like I said, it's kind of humorous to a point. But then you hear people that are really good at it and people that are really bad at it, and you go, okay, this is actually, there's like some technique and stuff going on here. This is a real thing. These people really kind of do this stuff, and I dig it. I thought that was cool. It's one of those things that I can listen to a few songs and just totally have my music fixed for the next 6 months. I'm like, oh my god, I just heard more guitar riffs and drum fills and off time signatures. I'm like, yeah, man. So anyway, Wormhole, I'm a fan. I would love it if you would send me a shirt. I know you're on a label or whatever, and you probably won't even hear this, but I like your band. I would wear your shirt, and I would give that a 4.5 taco with the little dash of salsa on there for just awesomeness. Yeah, man. So I'm in. I think that was really cool. I think this next band is called Epic Battle. Is that right? Let's see here. Let's look in the old Hellsong, Orion, Pleasure. Hell, I don't even see it. So we're going to say that it's Epic Battle. And the song is called Dirty Album Version. So I don't think that's the name of the band. So we'll find that later. Here comes a band. I don't know who they are, but we'll figure it out, and we'll talk about that later. Where the hell is it? I literally don't see it on my playlist. But here it is anyway. Epic Battle with the Dirty Album Version. That said dirty. Nobody cares. All right, here we go. On Soundcheck, my name is Moose, coming to you from Oklahoma City on the Soundcheck with the dirty album version of Epic Battle, that one song. Yep. Are we ready? Can we play it now? Yes? Okay, let's do that. Epic Battle right now.
Show your rack, Cheetos, and rubber chickens. You've just joined the Moose Crew.
A little bit of Helse out there with some Demu Borgir influenced black metal with the heavy orchestration. I liked it. I would definitely wear the shirt because it was a good slab of metal. It's kind of hard, and I even struggle with this a little bit on Demu at times. It's a little epic for me. I mean, I know the whole Scandinavian and Vikings and all that, but sometimes I just want a black metal song to be like, Black Metal by Venom, so. But I liked the vocals. I liked the arrangement. I thought the song was cool. The drumming was typical black metal drums. It was pretty good. I would wear the shirt. I'd give it a three taco rating. Just good standard keyboard filled black metal is it anybody that's breaking new grounds? Certainly not, but pretty good, man. I liked it. So that might be something when I'm in that Demu kind of mood that I go back and check out. Try to keep my music varied on what I listen to when I'm not doing the show. So and then I think I've told you guys this before. When I find a band that I like on the show, I see if they're on Spotify immediately, so I can put them on my Spotify and rock it out there. So. It's one of those kind of things. This next band is one of those bands that has a great death metal name. So I'm guessing that they're death metal, and I can't believe this name hasn't been used before or hasn't been brought to fame, because it's like the perfect death metal name. So we'll find out about that here in just a second. Hey, listen, I wanted to mention to you guys the Metalhead Box. If you've never heard of the Metalhead Box, you need to check it out. If you're into metal and you're like me and you're in your 40s and you think you're still 17 and you should collect things like heavy metal patches and buttons and autographed CDs and cool stuff like that, which I love, this is the product for you. I think it's really a good product for parents who have kids who are into metal. It's a subscription-based deal. You can go to the website at themetalheadbox.com and pick the kind of subscription you want, because you've got all kinds of different possibilities, and you get it for your kid, because the kids, they're probably not working yet and they can't afford it. And man, I'm telling you right now, this is the coolest thing ever. I love it every month. I'm super, super, super stoked to get it in the mail. It comes right to your door in a package. It's worldwide shipping. Amazing. So themetalheadbox.com, check it out. So back to this name of this band. This band is called Beheaded. I don't know if you could have a better death metal name. That's an excellent, excellent name. So the song we're going to play is called The Black Death. I did have somebody ask me the other day if the bands tell me what song they want played. No, most of the time, no. They just send their album to me, and I just go and pick one. I literally just pick whatever song. Okay, there's one called The Black Death. We'll play that. There is no rhyme or reason to how I pick the songs. I just pick a band, pick a song, put it on the show, and we rock it. And sometimes it's great. And I'm telling you right now, I removed 2 songs from today's show because they were so bad. Beheaded with The Black Death coming up now.
This is Michael from the band Bag of Bones, and you're listening to the Metal Moose.
This is Derek from Scissortooth. You're listening to the Moose. This is Ben from Go War, and you're listening to Metal Moose Radio.
This is Ben DeVoe from Inverted Serenity, and you are listening to The Moose.
You are listening to the Metal Moose.
The Moose Rocks Florida.
So you got a little beheaded right there. How do you get a little beheaded? You're either beheaded or you're not. So, I appreciate it and de-appreciate it for different reasons. I like the methodical movement of the song. It just kind of creeps along, and then it kicks you real hard, and then it creeps back down again. It wasn't your standard cookie cutter crap, which is totally appreciated. I would wear the shirt, number one, just because it says beheaded on it, and I'm a fan of that. And I bet you they've got a cool logo, just guessing. I liked some of the guitar melodies, but then at the same time, as from a listener / producer knob nerd standpoint, you got to be careful when you're tuning low like that, because sometimes your guitars get just muddy as death. And I mean, sometimes it's incomprehensible even what's going on, because there's just so much string flap. But beyond that, I think it was a really cool tune. I liked that it wasn't just, I'm going to blow your ass away with blast beats, for 3 minutes. It had some move and some groove. And like I said, it was methodical. And who's really good at that is Morbid Angel. Does some good methodical, sludgy-esque, I'm sure you probably knew that, but just throwing that out there. God of Emptiness, great example. If you've never heard of Morbid Angel Kids, you should go check them out, because they're pretty okay. They're not bad for legends in the scene. So coming up next is a band that's also got a great death metal name. I think these bands should go on tour together. Beheaded and Scorched, So, they cut your head off and then they burn it, So it's a little bit of death metal love. This song is called Autopsy Incomplete, which I'm a total fan of. Forensic-esque, impaled carcass, county medical examiners, aborted. Yeah, so I like this kind of stuff. So we'll find out. Hopefully it's amazing, because I'm into it. On Soundcheck, here we go.
The Moose, Rocks, Colorado.
So, I mean, I think that one of the things you have to be really careful about when you're doing a digital instrument keyboard opening like that is it's so crystal clear and beautiful. And then when you kick into your song there, it makes your production sound like horrid. But I understand that it's supposed to be horrid and that it's supposed to have a ghoul feels to it, the whole horror Friday the 13th kind of deal. I liked it. That's there are times when ugly production is almost like the best part of the song. Like, and I'll give you a great example. The whole Panzerfaust album by Darkthrone, just garbage production. And as a matter of fact, Darkthrone's had quite a few garbage production albums. Burzum too. So yeah, I mean, I liked it. It was dirty. It was haunted. It was gory. It was filthy, and I like that. I'm a big Ghoul fan, so I felt a lot of Ghoul going on there. So the more, the better, as far as I'm concerned. I dig the whole scary metal thing. I'm a fan, so I would totally wear the shirt. And on a personal level, I would give that probably a 3.75. Just because I'm into that kind of, thing. On a broad scale, like as in what the public would think, I'd probably give that about a 2.5. Which, when you're in a band like Scorn, you're not real concerned about what the public thinks, just to be honest with you. But anyway, yeah, man, that's a real cult feel to it. And that word used to scare people, that cult. It used to be scary. I don't think it is anymore. But anyway, man, so yeah, there you go with Scorn. I really liked it. My name is Moose, coming to you from the Moose Pit Studios here in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, home of the Oklahoma City Thunder. And we're all praying that Russell Westbrook comes back. I am a big sports fan, so if you have some sports stuff you'd like to talk about on the show, you can also text that in as well. So, yeah. And I'm praying that Cleveland beats Golden State's ass in the finals. Just throwing that out there because Kevin Durant left Oklahoma City for Golden State, and I hate him for it. So anyway, yeah, man. So that's one of those things that right there will get attention. I don't know what will get more attention. I hate Kevin Durant because he left, or if I said something like I support President Trump. Which one of those things is true or not true? I think that's. Because if I say I support President Trump, I can imagine I would get a bunch of backlash. So we'll just have to see if anybody pays attention. Abandon ELYSIUM on Soundcheck. Let's get it on.
Yo, this is Tyson from the Apex, and you're listening to the Moose.
Hey, it's Aaron from Glass Delirium, and I'm a chick who rocks on the Metal Moose.
If you ain't covered in Cheeto dust, then you just ain't listening right.
This is Don Rizzi from Throttle God, Rock Springs, Wyoming Metal. And you are listening to The Moose.
This is Brad from Coma Trip, and you are listening to The Metal Moose.
You are listening to The Metal Moose. You are listening to the Metal Moose.
Abandoned Elysium. So they just made my Spotify list. So the more I hear of this kind of, music, and I know that I'm way behind, and people have been listening to Whitechapel and yada, yada, yada. So, but the more I hear of it, I like it. One of the things I like about the more of the, gent side of things and progressive metals, these guys actually think about their guitar parts. There was a wide open solo section in that song, and that guy could have just noodled his head off, just sweep arpeggio, and he thought about it. It was a well thought out solo. It was nice. The rhythm parts are awesome. They're structured. And that's one of those bands that I listen to, because a lot of times when I first started listening to this kind of stuff, I was like, okay, man, you're using a 9-string guitar. Play a damn solo for me. And I'm finding more of the bands with the solos, and I'm liking more of it, and the melodies, which is crazy because that's like the heaviest kind of brutality that you can hear almost. It's just but then there's so much thought and complexity, and then when the melody pops in, you're just like, damn, that melody really kicks out of that song because it's so just brutal to the core. So I would love a shirt from those guys. Triple X, please, if you have one. Or just send me a CD. I'd be happy with that, too. Just contact me, moose@themetalmoose.com, or find me on Facebook, and I'd love to tell you how to get a shirt to me or a CD. Either way, this next band is a band that I played on the Metal Moose show years ago, and they are extremely, extremely good. I'm not sure if they're signed now, or hell, they could be broke up at this point in time, but it was only 2015, so they might still be together. But really, really excellent band, underrated. I had never heard of them, and I'm sure you've never heard of them. They're a band called Horion. That's WHORION, Horion. Yeah, it's really damn good. So we're going to check it out. I don't think I've heard this cut, but we're going to check it out on Soundcheck. I don't even really know what to say other than damn Sam. Wow. Ryan, badass. Love that band. And I need to listen. I've had that album for a couple years, and I've listened to pieces of it. I need to put it on my Spotify right now so I can jam it in my car. Really, really good. Of course, I would love a shirt from those guys. Or I'm big on signed CDs too. If you guys don't have shirts, I like signed autograph CDs, and especially if you have personalized guitar picks, I'm into that too. So if you can't afford to send a shirt or whatever, I get it. But some picks would be cool. I would love to have just a whole collection of. Who's done that before? Cold Creature sent me some picks. I've got some Beauty and the Suffering picks. Dissonance and Design sent me some picks. I'm guitarded. I'm a guitar nerd. So if you have picks and an autograph CD, I'm totally happy with that. So love that band. I think that they should be bigger than they are. They could be huge stars by now. I don't even know, because they're not from the U.S. I think they're from the Netherlands or something. Anyway, yeah, man. So I've been lucky. I've gotten so much cool stuff from bands, and I'm talking about bands from all over the world: Sweden and Denmark, and just Germany and Finland. And this job. Doing this radio show has afforded me some really, really awesome friendships and awesome music memorabilia that I'm totally proud of. They've got, Aletheia's autograph, and the guys in Final Drive have sent me stuff, and just, man, it's the coolest thing ever. And, to a lot of the world who have no idea who Alethea is or Final Drive is or whatever, or Dietrich from Beauty and the Suffering, that's cool. Those guys, they're rock stars to me. Absolute rock stars. So, and that's the whole point of the show, man, is getting these bands out there so people can find out what they're missing. Because when you're listening to the big rock radio station in your town, hey, traffic and weather at the 5 and 10, you're missing a lot of great music, because they're, still playing Tom Petty and then Godsmack, and, you'll have your mandatory Metallica night, and then Tool and Chevelle. And look, there's nothing wrong with those things, but when there's so much new music out there to be heard, why listen to that crap? There's, no commercials on here trying to sell you used cars or whatever, life insurance. It's just me and you and metal, and hopefully some tacos. If you're eating tacos when you listen to this, you're my hero. I'm going to go inside here in just a minute after the show when I get back to the house, and I'm going to have some tacos. Yes, indeed, from Ted's Escondido. You better believe it. So, yeah, man, thanks so much for listening to the show. As always, coming up next is a band that reminds me of a NoFX song, oddly enough, Dysentery. We're going to dig it out right now.
You are listening to the Metal Moose.
Right, so this to me is where the line gets a little blurred, and maybe some of the younger kids out there can help with this. Not that there are any young kids listening to this, probably old farts like me listening to this show. But that, I remember in their explanation of themselves, they called themselves deathcore. That was death metal to me. That was just standard jungle rot kind of obituary death metal. That was what I call like cookie cutter death metal. There was nothing like obscure or strange, or there were no like weird breakdowns, or it was just low tuned growly death metal. So what is the difference between deathcore and death metal if that was deathcore? Because to me, like I would call that Wormhole band that we played earlier. That to me is more deathcore gent kind of thing. So that to me wasn't deathcore at all. That was just death metal. So yeah, man, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe there's something I'm missing. But to me, they call themselves deathcore, and that was just that we've heard a bunch of times over and over and over and over. Yeah. So anyway, it was okay as for a standard death metal cut. It was all right. The drumming was fast. It was all right, man. Just it didn't do a whole lot for me because I've heard it 7,000 times, so didn't really spark any interest for me. Coming up next, we have a band called Embers of Heroes, which now this sounds kind of like more of a metalcore, kind of a screamo kind of thing to me, just based on the name, which I could be totally wrong. But if you listen to the show, you know that I do guess bands, what they sound like based on their name, and most of the time I'm wrong. So, but I'm going to go with kind of screamo, emo kind of thing here. So, just has that feel to it. I got a gut feeling. I've had gut feelings about a lot of bands, though, and been highly, highly wrong. So we're about an hour and a half into the show. We got another 30 minutes. Just keep it buckled up because we got a lot more great music coming up, and I'm stoked about some of the bands we're going to play here in just a few. So Embers of Heroes coming up now. I'm stoked about this, too, because I've never heard it, and it's new music, and that makes me happy. So hope you're having a good time. Make sure and give us a text on the text line, 424-666-7356. You can text 24/7. Don't worry, it's not my home number. It's a business number. So text in, and I keep my phone on silent anyway, so I wouldn't know. But I promise to answer every text that I get. Every single one, I'll answer them. That is my guarantee. It's the Moose Guarantee, Embers of Heroes.
The Moose Rocks Texas.
What's up? This is Bill from Fuck the Facts, and you're listening to The Moose.
What's up, guys? This is Josh from the band War All the Time, and you are listening to The Moose.
This is Chris from ELYSIUM, calling you from Cleveland, Ohio. You are listening to Metal Moose Radio. Crank it up, man. It's metal.
Get loose with the Moose.
I could totally feel the emotion in that tune, and not only in just the vocal, of course, which, I'll be honest with you, and this isn't, don't take this as a slam, because the vocals were like probably my least favorite part, because they were kind of generic at, but I felt the emotion in the vocals. But in the music itself, man, it was really, really nice. And if you pay close attention to the drumming, there was some offbeat stuff going on in the beginning of the song. The guitar licks were killer. The whole emotion of the tune was really cool. I like that. It wove a good musical path. So man, I was a fan of that. That was pretty cool. I would wear that shirt. And here's one of the deals. That's kind of one of those songs that I think could go either way, to a metal fan or a hardcore fan. So it's one of those things that I could really introduce to more than one person. I don't know that a Morbid Angel fan is going to like that, but I think a Hatebreed fan would like that. You know what I mean? So it's just one of those kind of things that I thought that was really, really well done. Tune, nice. Motion, like I said, which emotion's a big deal to me. So that's why sometimes I get a little tired of the okay, we get it, you're scary, death metal, pentagram, yada, yada, yada. So anyway, that was cool, man. I liked it. I'd wear the shirt. I'd probably give it probably a 4. That was nice. It was a good performance. It was solid. It was slick. Guitar parts, drumming, beautiful, all of it. I liked it. So yeah, man, I haven't run across anybody that's totally horrible yet, but we still got, 30 minutes to go, so it could happen. I like it better on shows that it doesn't happen, that I'm like, okay, man, we had some really kick-ass music tonight, but usually within, 15 songs in a show, usually somebody sticks out, and like I said, I don't know if you guys heard me earlier, but there were 2 songs I had planned on playing tonight that I yanked from the playlist because they didn't fit at all, and they just weren't even really rock. One of them was like a synth rock kind of a deal, and the other one was like a jazz tune, which, like, I'm all about some jazz, don't get me wrong, but I don't know that this is the show to listen to jazz. I mean, it has saxophone and everything. I was like, okay, well, this is Making Babies music, so we didn't play that. So coming up right now is a band called Faith in Ruin. And gosh, it sounds kind of like a black metal name, but it's against the black metal rule. There's more than one word, and it doesn't have dark in it. So we'll check it out here on the check. Faith in Ruin. We'll see what they got. What do you got?
The Moose rocks New York.
Twisted world, in darker shades, we make our break beyond human minds. Welcome to wars, resting from lepers, just sacrifice through the surface.
The Moose Rocks Canada.
It's another one of those Tale of Two songs here, Faith and Ruin. So, excuse me, like the first half of the song, I was kind of like, this is okay. And it had that super, super bright production, which I think works really well for the bass guitar. For the regular guitar lines in the beginning of the tune, they were just so crisp, it almost cut too much. So the beginning parts of the song is like, this is all right. When they went into the riff portion, they're probably about halfway through. Then they went into the tap, interval that. And then from then on, it was really, really more of an interesting song. They started doing some different textures and different things with the music that made it a little bit more exciting. That would be my big suggestion, is try to make more exciting stuff throughout the period, because I kept listening, kept waiting for something, and I mean, it finally hit. So I was glad about that it finally turned into an interesting deal. But a lot of the time I was just kind of like, okay, man, the bass tone rocks here, and the drummer is just amazing. Just left a lot of wide open space and played really tasteful licks. So it had its merit. I'd wear the shirt. There was nothing wrong with that. I would tell people about that band. I'd probably give it about a 3.5 rating. I just very, very little things. The production, the guitar end of things was a little crisp. And then also it just kind of was mundane for almost too long, because I was almost done. I was like, okay, I'm going to turn this off. But I kept waiting, and that riff came in, the riff section, and then the whole tap interlude thing there. I was like, okay, that's a little bit better. And then even after that, the guitar work, even when the vocals came back in, the guitar work was more interesting in the latter parts of the song than the beginning part of the song. So pretty cool. It kept me waiting around, and it paid off, because the end of the song was or the last half or whatever was much more interesting to me. So yeah, man, that was cool. I'm into that. This next band, I love a name. This is another good name, but I'm expecting a lot, because when you get a cool name like this, I'm expecting a lot out of you. It's just one of my rules. If you get a cool name, you better be good. This is a band called Flesh of the Lotus on Soundcheck. So hopefully we'll hear back. If the bands are usually pretty good about writing in and giving their take on my review or whatever. But I love hearing from the bands, man. It's a big deal to me. I love hearing from you as well. Moose at themetalmoose.com. You can always go to themetalmoose.com, and you can find links there to iTunes and YouTube and all kinds of other cool stuff. And you can find us on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and all those places where the cool kids hang, except for Reddit. Reddit hates me. I don't like it. I'm not going to go there. Flesh of the Lotus, right now on Soundcheck.
Get loose with the moose. to the Metal Moose.
All right, Flesh of the Lotus. They're pretty cool, man. I'm not a big fan of the tom sound on the drums. It was a little Casio sounding to me. I would spend a little bit of time on the triggers on your toms. Personally, that's just, that's a very small thing. It was a good tune. I liked the guitar work was interesting. I thought that little breakdown kind of thing at the end was a little hectic, a little jumpy here and there. I thought, I get it, but it may have been a little much for me. But that was a good tune. That was another one of those bands that, now I can understand why somebody might call that deathcore as opposed to death metal, because that had a lot of the low tune and the just bass drop kind of sound to it. That makes more sense to me to call that deathcore than that other band. I can't remember who they were, but that was just straight death metal to me. So anyway, Flesh of the Lotus, pretty cool, man. I would definitely wear a shirt. And once again, I love a signed CD, and if you have pics, I'll take them, because I'm all about some personalized pics. I get an autographed picture from the Great Cat. That was pretty cool. She sent me one, and she sent me a pic too. So radical. I don't know if you guys know who that is, but she's a classically trained violinist who plays classical music on the guitar really fast, and she does it in a bikini. So how do you go wrong with that? So coming up next is a band that I played on the Metal Moose show a long time ago. I don't know if they're still together or not, but this is one of those bands that I heard way back when that I think has that kind of gent, kind of prog death thing going on. And I was like, oh my damn, these guys are awesome. So I thought it would be a good song to end the show off with tonight, because it's from a few years back, and they were doing some pretty insane stuff then. And I thought, hey, we got some insane stuff going on in this show, so we'll do it here. Hey, I would like to real quickly also mention that we do take donations. My my computer is going out. The screen is about to die, so trying hard to get a new laptop. We'll do the show either way. Even if I don't have a screen, I'll figure it out. But there are certain things that we got to pay for around here that we're including websites and all that kind of stuff. So you can donate at themetalmoose.com, hit the donate button, and do it. The Obelisk. Man, I can't wait.
The Moose rocks Oklahoma.
The equation is possible.
Oh, yeah, man. Bleach, rip it up. Love the vocal attack, the guitar playing, drumming, melodies, everything, production, rock on. Super, super damn good. That's one of those bands that I ran across that I was like, this is kind of a new thing here, because it was quite a few years back. And then, of course, like I said, I fully admit that I missed the boat on this whole deathcore, whatever, metalcore thing. I had the popular bands, like I said, Whitechapel and this and that, and I knew who they were, and I heard it, and I was like, okay, whatever. But really been trying to study up on it a little bit and get more involved into it, because she said by the time I get done with it, there'll be a whole new movement, and I'll be behind again. So, but I mean, some movements last a long time. You had the whole mathcore thing that was out for a while, Dillinger Escape Plan and all that stuff, which was a lot of fun. So. Anyway, so yeah, I'm trying to catch up and also bring it to you guys on the show as well, because new music and new sounds and stuff like that important to your livelihood. It's a big deal. So listen, man, once again, thank you so much for listening to the show. It's a huge deal to me that you take the time to invite me into your home or into your phone or on your computer, however you do this. We're on iTunes, we're on YouTube, Stitcher, Spreaker. We're all over the place, man. Also, once again, at the website, themetalmoose.com, you can find a link to YouTube, which has every show that we've ever released all the way back to 2014, which is, 3 years plus 3.5 years now, of metal. So yeah, man, enjoy it. The show's gone through some changes, of course. And, it's interesting to go back and listen to the old ones, cause I'm like, wow, I was really stupid. Anyways, man, I say it at the end of every show. I'm going to say it again. You wake up, you kick ass, you be kind, you repeat. That's the way you do it. You actually hold somebody's life in your hands. You have the ability to change somebody's life just by smiling at them, putting your arm around them, saying, glad to see you, man, giving somebody a hug. You could totally change somebody's world. It's a big responsibility, man. Take it and use it. It's awesome. This has been Soundcheck from Oklahoma City. We'll see you next time. Peace.
All rights to the music heard on the Metal Moose are reserved by the authors, their labels, or authorized representatives that permitted their material to be used. The Metal Moose holds no rights to any music played on the show. Go to themetalmoose.com to submit your music to be heard on the show. Metal Moose accepts donations of money, Cheetos, bacon, and naked pictures. Thank you for tuning in and subscribe on iTunes. Rock out while you rack out, and consider yourself moosed.